Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back for another live stream. In today's stream, we're going to be talking about the latest on Rodrygo. We are hearing that Arteta really wants Rodrygo at Arsenal. The latest on players like Sesko, obviously. There's news on Gyokeres. We'll be talking about the two. Arsenal are keen on getting Hato from Ajax, the defender. We've spoken about it the last couple of days regarding Arsenal probably wanting a centre-back or a left-back because of the injuries, especially, and because of a couple of other players leaving. And also Leroy Sane. Leroy Sane has already made his decision, and I will be finding out the details on his deal. So let's start with Rodrygo. This is like for some the transfer that they're really waiting for. For some, this is like the second transfer that they're really waiting for after signing a striker. But according to Mario, who's a Real Madrid journalist, Mikel Arteta is in love with Rodrygo. He is totally certain that the Brazilian would be a superstar at Arsenal playing on the left wing. He really wants the Gunners to sign him this summer. So it has been confirmed that he really wants Rodrygo at Arsenal, which is it is great news because it does help if, first of all, the manager wants you in the team, not only because of the fact that he's going to use you, he feels like he can use you, but also in terms of us ending up signing him. I think it does matter whether the manager wants him. I feel like Arteta wasn't the manager and that Bat was making the decision. Maybe we wouldn't have signed Sesko, but because Arteta really wants Sesko and then the rest of the board agrees, we're going to get Sesko. So if Arteta really wants Rodrygo, it does help our prospects in terms of getting him, because if Arteta didn't want him, he can't go and pay 90 million for a player if he's not going to use him. He doesn't know how to use him. But if he does want him, that is absolutely great news. So he says that he's totally certain that the Brazilian will be a superstar playing on the left wing for us. So he has been playing right wing for Madrid. The previous season he played as a striker for Madrid before Mbappe joined there. So at left wing, that is the exact position that we need. Rodrygo wants to play at left wing. Arsenal wants a left winger. Come on. It suits each other perfectly. We suit each other perfectly. I think if he comes to Arsenal, he definitely starts ahead of Martinelli and Trossard, and I'm sure he would have a big impact for us. This is an experienced player who's played for Madrid for a lot of years now, won 2 Champions League titles, played internationally, played in many different positions. His goals and assists record is great as well over the past few seasons, so it would be an exciting signing. We haven't really signed a player like this in terms of the forward areas who's going to excite you, Alexis Sanchez was an exciting signing. Ozil was exciting. Aubameyang was exciting. Lacazette was exciting. We haven't really signed anyone as exciting as these players ever since then. When you sign defenders and goalkeepers, it's never really exciting, even if you sign them for 70 million. But when you go and you sign a forward player, it's really exciting. Sorry. And if you combine him with a striker that we are definitely going to get, or we should definitely get, then it's very exciting. So it's great to hear that Arteta really wants him. So let's see how that one goes. Let's go to this as well. So it has been reported by the Madrid. Okay, another quote from Mario. The coach carefully studied Rodrygo and is totally certain that Rodrygo would be a superstar at Arsenal playing on the left wing. Arteta really wants Arsenal to sign Rodrygo this summer. Arteta really wants Arsenal to sign Rodrygo. Not one really. He really wants Arsenal to sign Rodrygo. So that is great news. He will cost money. If you're going to get this deal done, it's going to cost money, and it's not going to be an easy deal to do. There's a lot of things that have to work out. Rodrygo has to decide that, okay, I want to leave Real Madrid. Real Madrid have to decide, okay, fine, we are going to sign a replacement. Already have a replacement. You can go. And then Real Madrid, thirdly, have to say, okay, fine, we want 70 million, we want 80 million, we want 90 million, end of story, give us this, and then you can have the player. And then Arsenal have to decide whether that is the player that we really want, as Arteta has said, and then we have to pay for him. And then, obviously, we have to agree on wages and all that. So it's not going to be easy. I think you're going to get a striker before you get Rodrygo. It's not easy to get a player like Rodrygo, but I would absolutely love Rodrygo at Arsenal. It'd be my first winger signing. And as I said last week, when you want a player like Rodrygo, you have to pay that money for them. You're not going to sign Rodrygo for 50 million. If you want top players, you're going to have to pay that kind of money for them. And if you look at, around the market and you see teams like Liverpool paying 150 million euros for Vats, we've seen players like Nunes and Højlund going for more than 70 million, goalkeepers going for 70 plus million. Then it starts to look very cheap, because I feel like in the next 2 years, a player like Rodrygo would be going for 160 million, and it's not going to be like a shock. No, a player like Rodrygo would be like 160 million. Like the cheapest transfer people will be making will be like 30 million in the next like 2 years. That will be like, you see the players that we sell right now for 10 million, maybe in the next 2 years they're going to be sold for 30 million, because that is just how football is. Football is a growing game. We moved from players getting paid 50,000 per week. Now teams want people to be paid 350,000 per week to keep them, and it's going to keep on going higher and higher. So Rodrygo, I think two factors that will be difficult is I think he will eventually say, okay, I'm okay with leaving, but Madrid, the money that they're going to want, and also the wages. So I feel like it's worth it paying it, but there'll be a lot of discussions, obviously. If he says he wants to be the highest paid player at Arsenal, that will take some time. They won't just say, okay, fine, Rodrygo, you're the highest paid player at Arsenal now. Here's your 300,000 per week. I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. But Arteta wants Rodrygo, so that's the latest on him. Next up, let's go to Sesko. So let me pause this video first. So Fabrizio talked yesterday, and he said that Arsenal are in advanced talks with RB Leipzig, and Benjamin Sesko's agent is currently in England. He's their main striker target, and he prefers to stay in Europe despite Saudi Arabia's interest. So Fabrizio said that Benjamin Sesko agent is in England right now, I guess, discussing with Arsenal. We did hear that Liverpool and Man United were also interested, but the way things are going, I feel like Liverpool are too focused on the VAT deals and all those other players that they want. And I feel like Man United are more focused on trying to get Mbeumo at the moment. So the fact that Arsenal have wanted Sesko for like 18 months, I am sure the agent is in England to talk to Arsenal. And now we just have to wait and see how quickly the deal will be done, or how quickly we're going to get this one sorted. So at the moment, the transfer window is closed for the next 6 days. It's going to reopen on Monday. So there's no one who's going to be signed between now and Monday. If you're going to sign a player, the earliest will be next Monday. But we can still continue the discussions. You can still continue meeting the agents. You can still continue discussing terms with the player. But nothing will be announced. No deal will be announced. I don't think any offer can be made up until next Monday when the transfer window opens again. But the agent is currently in England, so hopefully this deal gets done as quickly as possible, because all these players, we also have news on Gyokeres. It's never going to be cheap to get them. Last season, or at the beginning of the transfer window, we had that Sesko might cost us like maybe 50, 55 million. Now it's gone all the way to 70, 80, 90 million. That's the range where people are talking about. And Leipzig don't have to sell him. They can just be like, okay, we want 80 million. What are you guys going to do about it now? Unless we really push them because they don't have Champions League football next season and they're kind of desperate to sell him. That is where now Andrea Bata comes in. How good are his discussions, his negotiation skills? For the one for which deal was it? The Zubimendi one, we had that he's done very, very good work in terms of that 55 million that you're going to pay in like more than 4 installments. That is very great business from Andrea Barton. Now, can we do the same with Rodrygo? Can we be able to do the same with Sesko and all that? So we have to wait and see what happens. But Fabrizio confirmed that Sesko's agent is in England. And then let's do this from Miguel Delaney. Benjamin Sesko wants to go to Arsenal and is energized by the prospect, with personal terms seen as no issue. The primary issue right now is between the clubs, with RB Leipzig currently holding firm on receiving his release clause, now understood to exceed 65 million, which is around 80 million euros, 65 million pounds. But I'm also hearing they still want to get more than that, but also want to pay less than that. So it's still going to take a couple of weeks. Now that the transfer window is closed, let's wait and see what happens up until Monday. If there's any breakthrough in terms of us negotiating with them. We've already had that Sesko has agreed to join Arsenal. The personal terms are okay. It's not like the Rodrygo one. Rodrygo one, there hasn't been any discussions with the personal terms yet. But Sesko's personal terms have already been agreed. Now it's up to Arsenal and Leipzig to agree the fee for Sesko. As soon as that one is agreed, then Sesko will be an Arsenal player. Let's hope there's development from next week and we get it done, because we don't want to lose out on both Sesko and Gyokeres. That would be a bit of trouble. Where do you start after that? So that's the latest on Sesko. We've also discussed Rodrygo so far. Now, let's go to Gyokeres. Gyokeres is another that has popped up today. So according to reports from Portugal, Now, Fabrizio has told us Sesko's agent is in England, and according to this, breaking news, Viktor Gyokeres' agent is currently meeting with Arsenal. So, it's tough to know to believe anymore. I probably think both are true. I do think Sesko's agent has met with Arsenal, probably in England, and the agent for Gyokeres is probably in England meeting with Arsenal, but probably not just Arsenal. It's probably meeting with Chelsea as well if they haven't moved to the Club World Cup. Probably meeting with Man United as well, and then finally it will be decided whether he's going to actually move to England or stay in Portugal, move to a different country. I wouldn't be surprised, as I said, if Gyokeres ended up staying at Sporting, not because he doesn't want to leave, but because Sporting are going to play it very, very hard. Sporting are not going to allow him to leave for that little money, that especially if like Sesko goes right now for like 80 million, Sporting will say, nah, we want like 90 million, 100 million for Gyokeres. And that is the first reason we had that Arsenal did not want to go for Gyokeres, because they feel like since Sesko is younger and Gyokeres is more expensive and would want more wages, they don't feel like it's worth it. And as of now, there hasn't been any teams making any bids yet. And from what I've seen online, people are still saying, nah, it's not worth it. It's coming from the Portuguese league. Even Nunes got this number of goals in the Portuguese league. Again, as I said, I don't agree with that necessarily. I think having 80 plus goal contributions in a season is crazy, whether you're doing it in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in South America, in Australia. It doesn't matter where you're doing it. Getting 80 plus goal contributions is absolutely crazy. But there's a bit of drama with Gyokeres today with his with the Sporting president and a few others. So Federico Varandas, Sporting CP's club president, insists he has received no offers for Viktor Gyokeres. So no one has bid for Viktor Gyokeres up until now, no team at all. And says his side will not succumb to blackmail and insults as speculation over the future of their star striker continues. The Athletic reported earlier this year that Arsenal were developing a strong interest in Gyokeres, while Man United and head coach Ruben Amorim remains a major admirer, having worked together at Sporting before the Portuguese departed last winter. Reports in Portugal have claimed that Gyokeres could go on strike to force a move away, amid suggestions that the club had previously agreed to let him leave if a set valuation was met. Varandas insists that that is not the case, however, and has been moved to comment publicly on the saga. So I'm sure about the exact numbers, but what they're basically saying is that they had a gentleman's agreement. Sporting told him stay this season, and then next season, if a certain amount is paid, I think it was around like between 50 and 60 million. If that amount is paid, we are going to allow you to leave. Was it like the 67 million pounds? I think it could be that. I think it's 67 million pounds, if I'm not wrong. I think that is what they had agreed on. If it's after the season, we're going to let you go for around, let's say, between 60 and 67 million pounds, and then you can go. So I'm guessing teams have had discussions with him, including Arsenal and Man United and a couple of other teams. But Sporting have said, actually, no, we're not going to let him go for 67 million pounds. Whatever they said, whatever Gyokeres is saying, that we had a gentleman's agreement that you're going to let him go for that 67 million pounds. It's not true. We want somewhere close to 90 million, actually. So Gyokeres might want to go on a strike, because if they say they want 90 million and no team comes in for him, then he's going to be stuck there. I don't think there's anyone who's going to pay 90 million for Gyokeres. Although what I've said is scored that many goals over the last 2 years, there's no one who's going to go and pay 90 million for him. So if he's not, if they don't reduce that price back to 67 million, he might end up staying there for another season. So especially if Arsenal end up buying Zubimendi and get serious about Rodrygo, I don't think there's going to be more money like that to pay 90 million for Gyokeres. And on top of that, if they feel, Sesko is young and all that, they're definitely going to go for Sesko. Man United, if they're going for, they signed Cunha, they're going for Mbeumo, I think they'll feel like, okay, 90 million is too much. We don't have any European competition. And if his wages are high, if Sporting want 90 million for him, or anywhere between that, and Gyokeres wants like 250,000 per week, yeah, Man United are also not going to pay that as well. So which team is left? Chelsea right now struggle to get players like Mannion for 15 million, 20 million from AC Milan. I don't think I've had any other team. You'd think maybe players like Gyokeres who move from Sporting, they usually end up like at Leverkusen or Dortmund, and then after that they move to England or to Spain. But again, a team like Dortmund is not going to pay 90 million for Gyokeres, especially after already buying Bellingham recently. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So for Gyokeres to leave, there's going to be a little bit of drama. So maybe that is why we've not really pushed for him, because Andrea Arteta didn't want all that drama and negotiations that will take a few months. If Gyokeres is going to leave Sporting, I think it's going to be like at the end of July. So can we wait up until then? Because there's a lot of drama going on there. So the gentleman agreement, they've basically said that did not happen. Give us our money and then you can have Gyokeres. Because it's very interesting that up until now, this best striker in the world, there's no one who's made a bid for him. I still find it shocking, but yeah, if it's if they want something like 90 million, I don't think there's anything that is going to pay that for him. Even if he had scored 200 goals, I know it's still in the back of people's mind that the fact he's done it in Portugal, there's no one who's going to do 90 million. If it was 67 million, I was thinking 67. I was happy to pay even 80 million for Gyokeres at the start of the transfer window. And then they said it's going to be 67 million. I was like, that is not no-brainer. 67 million for Gyokeres, go and pay it right now. But if they're demanding up to 100 million euros, then that will be a problem, especially if he also wants a lot of wages. Then at that point, you have to decide, do you want Sesko and Rodrygo, or do you want just Gyokeres and no winger or cheap winger? Then at that point, you have to wait and see. So Gyokeres' drama will not end right now. That will continue for a few more weeks regarding the team and also the player himself. They could go on strike, as they've said. So that will be a problem. Let's see, he didn't even play for Sweden. I think yesterday they played against Algeria. I don't know if he's injured or he just didn't play because of the transfer situation. Let's see. Next up, let's go to Jorel Hato. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed today that Arsenal and Chelsea have called to be informed on Jorel Hato's situation. So Jorel Hato is a centre-back, left-sided, who can also play as a left-back. And we discussed on yesterday's stream that because of the injuries at Arsenal, it's defensively, we do need another defender. We already know that. I'm not sure when Gabriel is coming back. Saliba is still injured. And all the others, Timber is currently injured. Tomiyasu is currently injured. Zinchenko, I don't know whether he's going to stay or leave. Tierney has left already. He's joined Celtic. All the best to him. We're still not 100% sure about Kivio's situation at Arsenal, if he's definitely going to stay or he's going to be sold. We don't know that. Ben White has had a lot of injuries. Calafiori has had a lot of injuries. So all that is problematic. We don't really have a defender that is 100% fit right now, apart from Lewis Kelly, and Lewis Kelly is a midfielder who's playing at left back. So he will need another defender, ideally the one who can play centre back and full back as well. If Kivio stays and Lewis Kelly is there and Calafiori can stay fit, and Gabriel comes back, we definitely don't need anyone on the left side. We'd maybe need a backup for Saliba, or we can use Ben White as a backup for Saliba and then have someone else to come and back up Timber at right back. That can also work. I'm happy with any defender that we want to get, no problem, as long as it doesn't cost like 67 million, because we will need a defender. So Arsenal have approached Jorel Hato. They've made a call. Same with Chelsea. Chelsea always everywhere. So Fabrizio has confirmed that. So Jorel Hato is a player we wanted last year as well from Ajax. Last year when you wanted him, Ajax wanted like 50 million. So as of now, I don't know how much they would want, but we've made the call to ask. So we've been told that Andrea Arteta has made several calls to find out the situation with all these players. We've been told he's talked to Lookman, he's talked to Nico Williams, he's talked to Rodrygo, he's talked to Sesko and Gyokeres, both camps. He's even talked to Jorel Hato, to a couple of goalkeepers. And then eventually they will decide who they're going to want to sign. So I'm happy that we're being linked to this one. I wouldn't pay 50-60 million for a defender, but we do need a defender because of all the injuries. We cannot go into next season again and playing Saliba every single game and worrying that, oh my goodness, if Gabriel gets injured again, who is going to play there? And we have to keep Kivio, as I said. So that is Jorel Hato. And then next up, Leroy Sane has moved. So Leroy Sane has moved. You're not going to get Leroy Sane. But this is what is interesting. Leroy Sane to Galatasaray. Here we go. 3-year deal signed right now. Sane will fly to Istanbul tonight for medical. story from the morning. So Sane has gone to Galatasaray. So you're not going to get Sane. For those ones who didn't want Sane at Arsenal and they felt like Sane is another Sterling, Sane has gone to Galatasaray. But this is what is crazy. Leroy Sane's contract at Galatasaray is set to be worth upwards of 300,000 per week. Whew. There's no way we were going to pay that. There is no 300,000 per week. If Sane came to Arsenal right now, he would be the highest paid player at Arsenal. Yeah, I don't think any fan would be happy with that at all. And I don't think the board would be happy with that. I don't even think Arteta and Partey would be happy with that at all. So there's no way then we were going to sign Sane. We inquired about him, but if he wanted more than 300,000 per week, and I saw David Ornstein and things say that is kind of net, so it could be more than that. This is like after tax, from what I'm hearing. So it could be like 350,000 per week or something. Yeah, it's I wanted him as the third option after getting Rodrygo and Sesko. I was happy to get Sane as another backup, but yeah, not for 300,000 per week. 300,000 per week is the highest paid player at Arsenal right now. That he would be the highest paid player at Arsenal. So no, Sane, all the best at Galatasaray, but we were never going to pay that kind of money for him, even if it's free. Yeah, it's a free deal. Those amount of wages would be too risky. We were only paying 110,000 per week for Sterling. If you had gone for Sane for 300,000 per week, it would have been crazy. So yeah, that is the end of the Sane transfer debacle. He's moved on to Galatasaray. I'm sure even if Arsenal were ready to pay him to like whatever money and Galatasaray wanted him, he would choose Galatasaray because of that money. That money is too much, and he gets to stay in Europe. He still gets to play European football, Champions League and Europa League football. He doesn't have to go to Saudi Arabia, and he still gets paid 300,000 per week. Yeah, he's moved on to Galatasaray. All the best to him. So we have to look for someone else. So we were told that we want a backup for Saka, so it has to be someone else. It won't be Sane, and it probably won't be Mbeumo. So we have to get someone else to back up Saka if you're going to get that signing. Who? That one I don't know. We already know the players we want at left back. We already know the players we want at striker. There's 2-3 players in those positions. But at right wing, I don't know who we are going to go for to back up Saka. Let's wait and see. We were linked to the Sociedad winger Kubo. I had his name as well a couple of days ago, but I'm not sure how serious we are with that particular deal. So let's wait and see. So that's the latest in terms of today's transfer news. And I repeat again, the transfer window is currently closed until next Monday, so no one can get any deals done right now. But you can continue discussing players. You can continue to, decide whether you are going to get this particular player, when the bid is going to come. But we have to wait until Monday for any advances in all of these deals. I'm sure that is Arabic. I can't read Arabic, but yeah, long time. Thank you for being here. I'm always here every single day, so make sure to check out the rest of the content that you've missed. Let me change this to this. Good evening, Glenn. How are you doing? I'm watching from South Sudan. Thank you, Macaire. Good evening. My name is from God. That is your name. Whew, what a name, man. What, from God. Wow, what a name. We really love to we really love seeing Arsenal management bring. We'd really like to see Arsenal management bring Rodrygo, number 11, Gary Martinelli, 35, all number, no problem on this. We do have free numbers. 14 is free, although I think 14 you need to get it after you earned it. I don't think just anyone should be getting 14. Thierry Henry is too much of a legend. Although some people say numbers don't matter, but that particular number, Thierry Henry was too good. Aubameyang won us our last trophy, and Theo Walcott was. I think Walcott is still a very good player for all those years he played for Arsenal. I think he deserved the number 14. To just get the number 14, it's very difficult. And Theo Walcott got the number 14 because Thierry Henry said he wanted him to get the number 14 anyway, so that was understandable. Let's see. Omer says, welcome Gunners. This is the greatest news, says Golden. Rodrygo is a good player, but 60 million, 70 million is enough to buy him, says Benjamin. I'd pay 70 million. I think I would also pay 80 million. It's getting players from Real Madrid and teams like that. You're not going to get them for 50, 60 million. If players like Vats are going for 150 million euros, how much would we, if we sold Martinelli today, how much would you sell? How much would we sell him for? Because I've seen Arsenal fans saying 50 million, 60 million. Who is better right now between Rodrygo and Martinelli and all that? You have to look at that. You have to look at the market and all that, how much other players are going for. So I would say between 70 and 80, Benjamin, around that. But more than that would be too much. If they start saying 90 million and all that, that would be too much. Kenny says, thanks very much for always updating us about our Arsenal team. I'm Kenneth from Kampala, Uganda. Thank you. Arsenal FC is a failure. Kipto says Arsenal FC is a failure always. Let's just have good news next week on Benjamin. Sesko says McCare. What about Gehi? We talked about him yesterday, Philip, but today there hasn't been any news on him. But yeah, he was mentioned yesterday as well. So it looks like we wanted a left-sided defender. So Hato, Gehi, looks like we're looking for a left footer to play at left centre back and left back. Because Calafiori is also a centre back who can play left back. I can't wait to see where Calafiori fits in next season, where Lewis Kelly plays next season, where Merino plays next season, where Havertz plays next season. Because if we sign all these players, there's going to be, we have to find a way to fit them into the team, especially if everyone is fit. Mubarak says, big up, Sata really wants Rodrygo, which is good news. While Madrid willing to sell. I don't know if they're willing to sell because there's a Club World Cup coming up. Let's see if he's going to be in the squad. That is a bit problematic because if you wanted to sign him, you'd want to sign him right now before he got to the Club World Cup with Real Madrid. Fortune says, watching live from Nairobi, Kenya. Once again, Zagana. Come on, you Gunners. We've talked about Sesko, Alex. Good afternoon, Anthony. How are you doing? Okay. Good evening, Jude. I don't know how true the news that Arsenal want the issue of Sesko to be finalized latest on the 15th of this month. 15th. That's possible, but the transfer window reopens on 16th. So there's nothing that is going to be done until the 16th. But we can finalize it, and then on 16th we proceed with the offers. But I don't think we can even make offers right now until the transfer window reopens on Monday. And I found out why they closed the transfer window, because I'm hearing that the transfer window has to be open for exactly 4 months in a year. So if they left it open now, between now and 16th, it would go to 17 weeks, and they want it to be exactly 16 weeks in a year. That is the rule. So yes, some of those rules I've never heard about. I'm sure most of you have never heard about that rule. We just hear about new rules in football every now and then, but it's probably true. The transfer window needs to be open for 16 weeks in a year. But I've never really realized how long it's always open for. I just know it's January and June, July, and August. Ned says Rodrygo deserves number 10 for me. I would give it to him. He will soon be a contender for Ballon d'Or in that Arsenal jersey. I wish. If Rodrygo comes to Arsenal and he becomes a contender for Ballon d'Or, then he's done something very, very good at Arsenal, including winning a trophy, because players who get that Ballon d'Or have won a trophy. So if he gets anywhere near that, then that means Arsenal have won a trophy, which is perfect. Samson is not confident at all. He says Arteta will keep on loving quality players until the transfer window will be over again. Then he will use Kai or Merino as strikers, leaving to go trophyless again. So Samson is not having it. Samson is not confident at all. Watching from Zambia says Zulu. Watching from Nigeria says Solomon. Rodrygo's fantastic. Watching from Kenya says Phoenix. We have to sell Martinelli, says Tanko. I don't think we have to sell Martinelli. But he doesn't have to start next season. If Rodrygo gets signed, Rodrygo is the one who starts. If you sell Martinelli, you're going to need to buy someone else. If you sell Martinelli, then I would ask you to buy Rodrygo, buy another left winger, and buy another right winger who's going to back up Saka. That is already 3 signings, and you've not talked about Zubimendi and a striker and a defender and a goalkeeper. No. Could he be sold? Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Martinelli is the one who's going to be sold. But if we sell him, how much are we going to get for him? Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't think we're in a position to sell players. That is my point. If you start selling, we didn't have enough players last season. He looked at our bench every single time. He looked at our bench. 2 goalkeepers, Tierney, Zinchenko, Kivio. Sometimes that youngster called Sweet on the bench. Sometimes you had, before you went to Man United, Heaven was on the bench. Who else? Butler, Deji was on the bench. And Nwaneri was on the bench, another youngster who's just started really playing for us this past season. And then that is it. And you're currently losing 2-1, and you look at the bench and you're like, okay, so who is coming on? Even Jorginho was injured at the end of the season. Literally, there was no one on the bench for us last season. So if you sell Martinelli and you sell Trossard and you let Partey go and all these guys, Tierney has already gone, Zinchenko go, and then you let Kivio go. Then next season, when we are struggling for a goal, and if Havertz is starting or Sesko is starting and they're tired, then who is coming on from the bench? If Rodrygo gets injured for a month, who's going to replace him on that side for that full month? So you have to consider all of that. I don't think you can afford to sell players at the moment. We don't have enough players. If we had enough players, that is fine. But if you told me you're signing both Rodrygo and another left winger, then we can talk about it. But again, I don't think Martinelli is completely useless. I disagree with that. So I still, as I said yesterday, he still plays very well defensively. He still works hard every single game. There's no game that you're going to watch and say Martinelli, you're not seeing Martinelli because he's always available in the game. Does he miss chances? Yes. Does playing with his head down frustrate fans? Yes. There's a couple of situations where he should have passed the ball to Saka, but he didn't get his head up. All that is very frustrating. Now, if you have other players like Sesko and Gyokeres and Rodrygo in the team, maybe you won't notice it too much, or maybe we won't be complaining about it too much because we would already scored another 3 goals in that game. So Madiba says, watching you from Nigeria, bro. Thank you, Madiba. Let Martinelli be and add another super player to make him serious, says Solomon. I agree with that. Watching from Kenya, says Edu Saka. Good evening, Ghana, says Sam Bless. Rodrygo is fantastic. I think I missed something here. So let me recap for the guys who are just joining right now. Today's stream, I'm not going to carry it too long because there's only like 3 or 4 pieces of news I've already talked about. So according to reports from Mario, who's a Real Madrid journalist, he says Mikel Arteta is in love with Rodrygo. He's totally certain that the Brazilian would be a superstar at Arsenal playing on the left wing. And then reports from Madrid accounts say that Arteta really, really wants Arsenal to sign Rodrygo this summer. That does help, as I said, when talking about Rodrygo. Fabrizio Romano confirmed on this video that Sesko's agent is in England, so I'm guessing to talk to Arsenal. So let's see. We've seen that comment saying he wants to finalize it after by 15th or something. Let's hope. So Leipzig wanted it to be done quickly as well. So I think if we are going to sign a player, if I was going to predict right now who's going to sign for Arsenal, the first 2 signings confirmed, I would. We don't like it, but I would actually say Kepa is going to be the first person that we're going to sign. And then I think the second one will probably be Zubimendi, I think. And then Sesko, probably the third one. Rodrygo and those others, I think it's going to still take more time. So Sesko and Zubimendi, I think Zubimendi is going to be like still in a couple of weeks, not now. Viktor Gyokeres' agent is currently meeting with Arsenal. This is according to reports from Portugal. So again, we are being told that Arsenal is currently meeting both Gyokeres and Sesko's agents. So is this still a decision that is going to be made? But the problem is Sporting are playing very hardball with Gyokeres. According to reports, Gyokeres, they had agreed that they would let him go for 67 million. But now what they're doing is basically changing the story and saying, you know what, no, actually we want 80, 90 million. So there's reports that Gyokeres might want to go on strike and force a move away. So that is problematic. That is not something that is going to be sorted right now. Arsenal and Chelsea have both been informed on Jorel Hart's situation. I've called to be informed. This is the defender from Ajax who might come and be a backup for Gabriel. So what happens to Kivio? Will Kivio be a backup for Saliba instead on the right side? And Leroy Sane, drama is over. Leroy Sane has moved on to Galatasaray, so we're not going to be signing him. He's going to be getting paid 300,000 per week, which is crazy. We wouldn't have paid that kind of money. Emma says, good evening, bro. Glenn, I'm watching from Kampala. Thank you. Teams like Pool, Man City, United, and Chelsea are buying players, but what is wrong with Arsenal? They are good at just pointing on players instead of. As I said yesterday, Man City and Chelsea are going to play a competition, so they had to. The transfer window opened on June 1st for teams like Chelsea and Man City to buy players. For Liverpool, yeah, Liverpool are moving quickly and they've just won the league, and Man United as well. I try to usually focus on Liverpool and Man City and those kind of teams. I feel like Man United usually just buy anyone they get for 70, 80 million. Let's see though. Andrea Butt is a new director. I'm not going to really say anything right now. Let's just see how quickly he gets the deals done. Robert says, watching from Kenya, I would like to have both so competition to be crazy, says Phoenix. Martinelli should be allowed to remain in the team, says Savia. And watching you from Calabar, Nigeria. So Mubarak says we miss a show between you and Kozi. I'll talk to him. He's not been doing live streams recently. He's not been around. So we'll see when the transfer reopens if we can get some shows going. But yeah, that is the latest today on Rodrygo, Sesko, Gyokeres, Sane. I cannot guarantee there's going to be another video tonight because there's no news at all. I don't think there's any other news unless something breaks tonight. That's when you're going to do a video. But we're not just going to do random videos if there's no news. So that's the content for today. If you don't see me again today, same time tomorrow, same time for another live show. But if there's any more news, then I will post another video later on. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.